Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. More Newcastle United transfer news, and listen, some huge stories regarding the club came out this morning. It is official now that Newcastle actually loaned out money from the HSBC. But what does this mean for the club? Why are we loaning money out? We have the richest owners in world football, so why do we need to loan money out? I'm going to explain that in today's video and how it affects Newcastle's transfer budget in a positive way. We currently have between 40 to 50 million pounds left to spend on approximately, you would say, between 2 to 3 players on the attacking end. We haven't touched the attacking section yet. And as was showed yesterday, really, with the likes of Chris Wood, Matt Ritchie and Jacob Murphy in a front three, how with the players we've got, we need squad depth in the attack. We just don't have the squad depth at all, and it showed on the pitch yesterday. But yeah, how does the loan money help us out? And as well as that, we got the transfer links with the likes of TIMO Werner. Is it possible to bring TIMO Werner to the club? So yeah, plenty to get into, guys. But if you're new to the channel, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button. We are now 130,000 subscribers. That is mental. So thank you so much. If you can get down there, hit that subscribe, but you don't miss any content on the channel. Friday we play, Saturday we play. We play our first Premier League match next week. So listen, it's all coming thick and thin for Newcastle now. A lot of exciting games ahead, and in such a short period of time. As well as Newcastle's transfer business, we are still not done yet. There will be more signings in. So yeah, plenty to look forward to on the channel. But yeah, that's about it though. Without further ado, let's get through all the transfer news now. There's plenty going on at the club, and I'm telling you now, there's been some really good stuff to talk about today. Begin off this video by talking about the Benfica defeat last night, because that game tells us quite a lot about our current squad and what players you could expect to go out of the door, and as well as that, what areas of the pitch you would expect Newcastle to invest in. So as for current players, Federico Fernandez and Javier Manquillo once again are just not featured at all. I don't think they came down at all to Portugal. And as far as I'm aware, they were injured according to the club for the Austria trip. I just don't believe that at all. You know, with these two players, they're two players you'd expect at some point to leave the club, or at least have interest in leaving the club. So the fact they're not in a normal pre-season tour, even if they're not injured, it suggests to me that they're probably going to be out of the door soon. Fernandez especially, I remember on the Graham Jones before Eddie Howe came in, how he was never playing. The club didn't have any interest in playing him. And he's just someone where he's going to want first team football, and with the likes of Botman, Dan Burn, Shaw, he's just not going to get first team football anymore, so you would expect him to leave. Manquillo as well, he's not a great servant. I'm a big fan of both these players. I still think they're both decent players. But the problem now being that Newcastle are just getting better players, and we've got Kieran Trippier, we've got Emil Kraft. There's just no place for Manquillo anymore, and you would expect these two players to go out the door. So I think the fact they're not on a pre-season tour again, even if they are injured, suggests to me that they will leave the club. So I'm confident those two will go. Matty Longstaff, he played yesterday, but he wasn't supposed to. He was on the bench with Jay Turner-Coote in the second half. But due to John Show's injury, he had to come onto the pitch. But I don't think he was supposed to play yesterday. So again, to be fair, at the time he did play on the pitch, I actually thought he was alright. But as I've spoken about in a previous video, I also expect Matty Longstaff to go out on loan this season. But because of his contract will run out at the end of the season, so he will become a free agent. So I still expect him to lead the club despite him playing yesterday. As for the players that did play though, Bondswell, that youth player, played left back. What a performance he had, bloody hell. So yeah, he was really good. I'm looking forward to seeing him for the under 23. I didn't think he was a bad fit at all yesterday. I thought he played quite well. Eddie Anderson, I didn't think had an overly great game, but I think the fact that Eddie Howe started him, and Luke Edwards has also came out, I think it was yesterday, and said that he will actually stay. It's an exclusive from the Telegraph that he will stay this summer at Newcastle. So yeah, Eddie Howe has some big plans for Eddie Anderson, which for me, I would have loaned him out personally to a championship team. But listen, I'm not the Newcastle manager, so if Eddie Howe thinks that's the correct call for him, then fair play. Especially in that Mainz game over in Austria, I watched him play that game, and he was phenomenal, Eddie Anderson. So I hope this is his breakthrough season at Newcastle, because if it is, we could have a serious talent on our hands. As for the rest of the team yesterday, Joe Linton's red card, he misses the Atlanta game, but he plays against Bilbao. I don't even know why the club came out with that statement, to be honest. It doesn't make a difference. So yeah, he can play on Saturday. He does actually have a 1-game suspension, but due to Newcastle's 2 pre-season fixtures in a row, it doesn't really matter. And other than that, really, I already spoke about it yesterday, but I thought Newcastle's front three, especially in the second half, just lacked any real talent. So I think that's definitely Newcastle's main focus for bringing players in now. But yeah, plenty of positives to take from the game yesterday. I think in terms of the current squad, it's also a good indication where certain players are now. So yeah, all round, got no problems with the match yesterday. We tried, we gave it a good go, and ultimately Benfica are a really good team. And to be fair, it's the Eusebio Cup, so you could expect things to be quite one-sided during the match. But anyway, though, that's just my thoughts about the main team. Let's get into the transfer news now. So onto the transfer news now. TIMO Werner is a player that's been popping up quite a lot for Newcastle over the last couple of days, and there's been quite a lot of journalists, not so much from the mainstream media, but quite a lot of individual journalists come out and say that Newcastle's interested in signing the player on loan with an obligation to buy. So the same contract as Matt Target, where the club will have a set price that they can buy Werner for, and if they want to, they can activate that whenever they want, really. So do I think it's realistic, and do I think it's possible? Well, I actually do think it's realistic. Newcastle can actually afford to do this. There are some problems with Werner, which I'll explain, but on paper, it's actually a plausible deal because Newcastle can afford it. Chelsea, I think, will be looking to loan Werner out because he's somebody in the Premier League that's not struggling, but he's not getting the goals that you would expect from the player that came from Leipzig. And for me, in a Newcastle point of view, would I take him? I've seen quite a lot of Newcastle fans say no to Werner, but I think he's an unbelievable piece of talent. The only problem with him on the pitch is his finishing. I think his finishing's terrible, but overall, his actual build-up play and the way he moves the ball and the way he sort of stretches out on the wing, he's just an exceptional player. And I think Newcastle will be very fortunate to get someone like him in. So the problems with Werner now as a player to get into the club is his wage. I'm not sure on the exact figures, but I'm pretty sure he's on about 300 grand a week at Chelsea. So that just rules out any permanent deal at Newcastle. But with a loan move though, there's quite a lot of things you can do in contracts where you can split the loan. So Newcastle could play, I don't know, 40%, 50% of the loan move, and Chelsea could pay 50% of the wages. So in that sense, it is realistic. It's just whether the clubs can agree to do that. And due to Newcastle loaning money out from the HSBC mean that we have more money to spend in the transfer window, deals like TIMO Werner on loan just seem more realistic to happen. So I'll explain about the HSBC loan in just a moment. But as for Werner, it makes sense for Chelsea to loan him out to a team like Newcastle because Newcastle aren't going to get top four, let's be realistic here. But they're a team that could create noise. They're a team that could prevent our teams from getting in the top four, which would benefit Chelsea as a club. You saw last season, Newcastle beat Arsenal in their final home match of the season, which ultimately was the reason why they didn't get in the top four. And for Chelsea, giving Werner to a team like Newcastle on loan for a season, and when they go out on the pitch, they beat some teams around them, and it just helps Chelsea out. So you would think, in a logical sense, if they're going to loan him out, then a team like Newcastle would just be a good move for him. So we'll see what happens with this one. We'll see if Chelsea will actually loan him out in the end. And for me, though, 100% I would take Werner. I think he's phenomenal. So if we get him, I'll be over the moon. But anyway, though, onto the loan now. What does this mean for the club? So Newcastle now have officially loaned out money from the HSBC. I think the club made the action literally 2 days ago. So the club's done this on the spot before the transfer window ends, before the season starts. But why have we done this and what does this mean? So Newcastle have used ticket sales and media rights to secure borrowing from HSBC. So this is money we will generate this season. So we are spending the money we haven't generated yet, but we will generate that money. Why have we done this? Straight up financial fair play. That is the reason why we have done this. We have the richest owners in world football. We do not need to borrow money, but we are not the richest club in world football. There is a massive difference between the two. The club can only spend what it generates in money, and we do not generate hundreds upon hundreds of millions of pounds. We generate a decent amount of money, but we don't generate like some Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, all the big teams in the Premier League. So under financial fair play, we are quite limited in how we can spend in certain aspects. But because of this loan now, it means that Newcastle have money now to spend. And let's be real, this is done for the transfer window. It's not done for any other reason. For example, things like the training ground, things like St James's Park, they don't fall under financial fair play. We can spend what we want in those facilities. Amanda Stabley said it first hand in one of her interviews. Financial fair play doesn't affect how the club generates in the training ground, how we spend money across certain areas. It affects us in the transfer market, which is why Newcastle took this loan out now. I can't see any other logical reason why Newcastle took a loan out. Now, this is quite a normal thing in the Premier League. This isn't like we've done this out of nowhere. Teams in the Premier League do this. Burnley's an example of a team that does this. Teams that struggle financially in the sort of the bottom half of the table can do this to try and help them out during the season. Or the top level teams can do this just to get some more players in. And you expect Newcastle to do this so we can bring more players in. We've already got 40 to 50 million pounds left anyway, so it's not like the club is skint because we literally had money there we could have just spent elsewhere. So this is done the sole purpose to spend money on more players. It's just a tactic, really. It's a smart move from the club, and I'm looking forward to see how the club spends it and how much money we really have. That's the one thing I don't know. I don't know the exact figures of how much Newcastle can spend, because from match day revenue and from TV rights and stuff like that, yes, Newcastle make a lot of money, but it's possible we might have only loaned like 10% out. It doesn't necessarily mean that Newcastle's loaned all of the money out. It might have just been a percentage of it. So until I find out more information, I don't know. So if I do find out more information, I might make a separate video where we go more in depth to how much Newcastle actually have to spend this transfer window. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching. Quite a lot of interesting stuff here. These seeds are being planted now. Newcastle are preparing to spend more money. It's official. We have loaned money out. That's not speculation. That's not, I don't know, somebody putting stuff out in the media. That is official documents. Newcastle have actually loaned money out from the HSBC. So where will this money go? I wonder where. So yeah, exciting times are ahead now. A few more weeks after the transfer window. How will Newcastle play this one out and who will we bring in? But anyway, guys, take care. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think about this news? Thank you all for watching, and yes, I will see you all in the next one.